All right, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. I didn't have to travel far for this one, so this is kind of fun. I'm so excited about this podcast, and we'll get into all that and the reasons why. But in the meantime, Ben, you want to introduce yourself to the audience, just a little about who you are, what you do.
Sure, yeah. Ben Hidon, live here in Paducah, Kentucky, and my brother and I own Higdon Outdoors, and been blessed and to work with some guys here in the shed industry to help develop LuxGuard. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Pretty awesome. So there's I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm overwhelmed in such a good way. Let's start with this. We are a baseball throw away from Red's Donuts.
We are.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but early on, we actually talked a lot about donuts, and particularly if you come to Paducah, Kentucky, that you need to get Red's Donuts. A lot of people don't know that story. Him and his brother started, or him and a friend started. The friend went down to Nashville, created Krispy Kreme. Boom, that come out of Nashville. It's known. So to me, Red's is like the staple, just amazing donut. And yes, we did go get some on the way here. And proof of that is that instead of being in my traditional white shirt, bow tie, suspenders, I went with the black and an alternative pair of suspenders. And what you guys didn't get to see is they popped off.
Yes, I did. That was so far the highlight of my day. Hopefully there's something better, but that was great.
Twice. Once.
Yeah, the first one hit me in the head.
Once. The second just said, I'm too fat to keep these down. So anyway, we're getting off the rails. But you'd have had to see it. Man, I don't even know how to say, just so cool to meet you. The fact that you're right here close to home. We have mutual acquaintances in the industry, and LuxGuard is that. So tell me about LuxGuard. What is LuxGuard?
Yeah, so LuxGuard is a solution for your floor in your shed. Keep it dry, looks amazing, and makes your shed last forever. This was I love developing products where we solve a problem, and that's what intrigued me about this when Gabe and the guys brought this in front of me, and it definitely does that, and it was a big challenge, long development process. But yeah, LuxGuard's it's a great product. It'll be around for a long time.
I've started seeing it just even more recently. The NFBA show down in Louisville a week or two ago. I go down there and I see the guys down there, and then I see them in Greenville, see them at the Shed Expo. So they're getting out, they're making tracks, and the product information is really getting out there. I think it's super cool. Seamless rubber flooring. It's got like this diamond plate kind of like stamp on it. So what's the benefits? I mean, what are you thinking, like when a manufacturer might see something like this? What are they thinking? Hey, this is what I need for my shed. I'm going to be able to sell more sheds this way.
Yeah. I think the benefits, I guess, on the building side, you make money on it, right?
Yeah, sure.
And
great upsell.
It's a great upsell, and for the end user is really where the benefits are.
That's right.
It just makes that shed last a long time, and it's a seamless floor. I guess you can't, when we were developing this early on, we poured gas, oil, paint, pressure washed, put a mower in there, took a 4-wheeler and, spun the wheel,
absolutely.
like everything you can think of. So it just holds up, it just really protects your floor.
All that abuse that's going to happen.
All the things that are going to happen in almost all sheds.
It's really genius if you think about it. That floor is like one of the most unprotected, but the most used surfaces. It is the most used surface in the shed. I mean, we think about protecting the outside of the shed against the weather and the elements and things like that. But internally, spills, like you said, abuse with ATVs, four-wheelers, mowers, those things are going to happen. I remember specifically going to fix a ramp on one that's what they were doing, burnouts and so things like that. I love their, what they've got going with marketing. I mean, it really makes a lot of sense to me. Helps with moisture and will not rot. ATV tires, mower tires, those things coming in, and it's seamless. So it's kind of like, I want to focus on that for a minute, if that's okay. Like, it's
absolutely.
seamless in the sense that you're not putting this in like panels, like you're putting this in over the entire floor during the installation process.
Yeah, that's I guess that concept, that idea is what made this such a big challenge, because a vinyl floor is not a new thing, right? There's been vinyl flooring, vinyl rollout mats for a long time. The challenge is in the width. So sheds come in a variety of sizes, and having that seamless floor where water can't penetrate the floor, that was the challenge. It was the manufacturing challenge, the design challenge, and I think that's why no one's done it before, because there's actually a variety of uses for the floor. It's honestly, outside of sheds, it's still the bigger, the wider the roll, the better.
Sure, absolutely. And the way that you're seeing like sheds just develop into these new creative ideas, new products. I mean, obviously, a shed's not what it was 30 years ago. Whenever someone's just looking for a quick outbuilding to throw stuff in, I mean, they're making these things with everything anymore. I mean, music studios, podcast studios, music, workout rooms. I mean, what are they saying? Like granny pods now, I heard, all these, in-law suites, whatever you want to call it. But the sheds, the point is the sheds are getting more customizable.
Absolutely.
And they're just getting better overall. So, I mean, like the products that come along really excite me because, well, we're not always necessarily the most creative sometimes in the shed industry. So to see creativity at work here really, really is awesome. I think it's a cool product. I've been out, got to visit with Gabe. The guys out there are just top notch, and they can walk you through this process. So there's equipment, obviously necessary, and there's a bit of a learning curve on that. So they've done a couple of things by manning the phones, and then also a video. It's like an installation video that can be shared, and we might like put that in on some of the video on this podcast or something like that, so people can kind of see that.
Yeah, and just to your point, the LuxGuard, it actually, I watch the guys install it, and for me, and I'm not a huge shed guy, right? I have a little bit different background, but it looks easy. Like really, like I sit there and watch it, and I'm like, what? This is not that complicated.
Yes.
And it's like you said, it's a learning curve, and I think that's a big part of the development of LuxGuard is just the learning curve of doing that. And Gabe and the guys, LuxGuard.com, you can learn, you can see the video, call them and walk you through it, because once you learn how to do it, it is easy. I've seen it work. Sellers
ought to be excited about this product. You have an upsell product, but then you also have a reason not to just sell on price. You have a reason to sell on quality. If you go to 30 shed websites, and I am a big shed guy, so I do this because I'm literally that much of a geek. I will go to websites and see out of 30, 29 of them are going to say, we build a quality shed.
Right.
You're increasing the quality with a product like this. That's the take I take away from it. I would imagine sellers do. If I was still selling sheds on the regular, day in, day out, what a cool opportunity to be able to sell something like this as an upgrade. Can this go on anything? So, I mean, is it just like stuck to like 10 wides, 12 wides? I mean,
yes.
They can go to 14. They can go to 16.
Yep. So we are the widest roll we could make right now is 14 feet 7 inches wide.
Okay.
And what's on the market right now is made for 14-foot buildings. So the 16 foot is for one, it's not as there's not as high demand for it, but it's a whole nother manufacturing challenge. I
would think garages for sure. Something that you definitely want, you like, I mean, that's a man's cave.
Yeah.
When it all boils down to it, right?
Absolutely. And you're talking about this, all the things that are sheds today, they're really not just what you think of they've just evolved so much. We've seen a lot of dog kennels, guys that are putting the dog kennel in the back and they want to go out and spray the floor out.
For sure.
A lot of success with that.
Genius.
Garages, man caves, I mean, really, you name it. It's cosmetically, it looks great aesthetically, and it just is functional.
Value for rent-owned company. I mean, if you get the building back on a return, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, easy clean out, make the building look new, get it back on the market. I mean, that's something you're going to want to do, is be able to put that building back out to your potential clients.
Have you considered adding a line of shed accessory items to your sales lot?
Introducing Shedderize. Shedderize has multiple items to organize your customer's new shed. From tool shelves to workbenches with pegboard, 3-tier shelves, cord and ladder hooks, and more.
Shedderize is seeking shed manufacturers and dealers who want to partner and make these items available for your customers.
Dealers can order items for display, then complete an order form and have the items shipped directly to the customer. You can also purchase in bulk to add to your line of sheds or have inventory available right there at your sales lot. Installation is simple and takes just a few minutes for most items.
To know more, contact Dave Fisher at 866-548-1625 or visit Shedderize.com.
Shedderize, organization made easy.
I think crucial for that space.
Oh, for sure. Increases your profit. I don't know. I'm just a big fan. Obviously, they can give you information on all of the different installation tools and things like that you need. Those guys they're top notch over there. They've always been great to me. Matter of fact, we've even partnered to an extent to try to move that product out further. So trying to not only talk about it here on the Shed Geek podcast, but hopefully we'll get some ads going here pretty soon, see how those things work. And we're going to do some special pricing. So
that's right.
If folks are looking for how to get the product and you're wanting some exclusive pricing, make sure you call them and use code GeekGuard. Yes, we're clever over here at the Shed Geek Podcast. That's what we do. We sit around and make these things up all day. But if you go to LuxGuard.ShedGeek.com, from the first day that this show actually airs, you will save 50% off of the installation equipment necessary by just simply going to LuxGuard.ShedGeek.com, calling the folks over there at LuxGuard, or going to Midco.
Yep,
Midco
absolutely
takes care of the retail side of moving this out. So call my buddy Alex over there, or Justin, or some of his sales team, Rob. I mean, there's a whole host of good guys over there that I'm sure be glad to help you. So, man, this is cool. So let's talk about Ben. I'm as excited to talk about LuxGuard, and it's cool, as I am to talk about Ben. So I guess I'm sort of like I don't know, not just a shed geek, but I'm impressed. Let me just say that first.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. With the building, right?
I mean, just getting to meet you, and so Higdon. I was born in Paducah. Matter of fact, about 2 blocks from where we are in Baptist Hospital. And Higdon's just a name that's been around the Paducah area for a long time. Higdon Furniture, and that would be your family.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
My aunts and uncles, my grandfather started the business, and we still work with them today on some things. But my cousins run the store. They're killing it. They do a great job. Man,
the name just rings a bell immediately, and I was like, gosh, I mean, I obviously know the name, but you actually have this really cool 3 to 4 other things you're doing, and it's hard for me to focus on one at a time. Higdon Outdoors is sort of an adventure of what you guys do. But so tell me a little bit about, maybe we'll try to get, I don't think we didn't bring our gimbal over today. We'll try to get a little video of your decoys back here. You guys have to try to appreciate what I'm saying. It's like walking into an oversized Foot Locker or Hibbett, and imagine just seeing the wall of shoes, but we see walls of decoys. And I think it's awesome. My brother would he would still be out there staring at each one of them one by one. He got a little bit more into hunting than I did. Enjoy it, but gosh, you guys are doing this on this whole new level. Tell me about Ben. I want to know about Ben right now.
Oh man, golly, give it a. But you're right. I've got just kind of thinking about you going through that. I'm like, we've got a lot going on here. You're exactly right. You know, my dad started this business back in '94. I was in high school, and we all thought he was crazy. We loved to hunt, but he had an idea for a motion decoy, and you know, really just struggled getting traction with the business for several years. And my brother and I hopped in there and kind of helped him, and that's really where I cut my teeth, learning about manufacturing and automation. We had an automated paint line, and just fell in love with designing product, solving problems, designing product, and sourcing product. I know it's a kind of a weird thing to have a passion to do, but you know, I love. There's nothing I enjoy more than either coming up with an original idea or working with someone who has an idea to solve a problem and really getting in their world and, you know, wrapping my head around what they've got going on, what they're trying to accomplish, and then bringing that thing to life. You know, it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
So in this business, in the hunting business, you know, we can make a duck or a goose or whatever, and you know, I can go and kind of be a secret shopper at Gander Mountain or Academy, and you know, see people sitting there talking about it and hearing, maybe sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but you know, it's a good feeling. You do that for 3 or 4 years, and then it's no different than what we're talking about here with LuxGuard. You know,
Sure.
I mean, this was I think we were 3 years before we ever got a piece of flooring off of a tool, you know, off the machine.
Okay.
You know, so we played with all kinds of different, you know, this isn't just a standard vinyl flooring. The chemical make of it is much different than what else is out on the market, and all that is very finicky. You know, if you're 5% under or over on a certain part of the makeup, it just doesn't stretch right. It doesn't act right in the cold or the hot. And, you know, so we got that formula dialed in, and, you know, it was a fun process. But I guess, you know,
that's sort of what attracted you sort of to the product, was kind of like your desire to watch that process and see it succeed, see something that you saw value and kind of help see that through. Well, just coming back to that, to the idea of like LuxGuard, how does that process play out? Like if you're stretching this out, I know I've seen the process, but maybe you can explain it to me in a way that makes more sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, you basically have a scrim, like a felt on the bottom of it that your glue sticks to. You spray your glue down, you roll your floor out, and then you get it to the end, you put it on the machine and clamp it, tack it on the ends, and then you just let that stretcher pull it. It doesn't pull it far; it pulls it a foot or something like that, knocks all the wrinkles out, and then that glue and scrim bond together, and you have a long-term adhesion there.
And then you build your wall. You throw your bottom plate,
right on
top of it, and once you start tacking it down, helps hold it in place. And I've watched a couple of floors get put on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool process. I tell you, just. I can't help it. Everything I do, I relate to hunting, right?
Go for it.
And one thing that we always, like, hunting is very competitive, right? So you've got two guys that may be 200 yards apart from each other, and they kind of like, you know, if he gets 10 ducks in and this guy gets 2, then he's like, what are they doing over there, right? So whenever we started looking at this flooring project, I was up there working with Gabe, and, you know, hearing him talk about some of these features and his vision for it. And he was talking about shed lots. You know, they're right down the street from one another.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what really sparked. I kind of related that to having the coolest motorized decoy that's splashing water and bringing in all the ducks, and then the shed lot that has this cool floor and can't rot, and it looks great. And this shopper going and looking at this one, and then going down the road and looking at this lot, and which one are they going to pick every time? And that's what we've always tried to do here at Higdon Outdoors, is build the best widget, the best decoy, the best thing. And, you know, you kind of have to do it. If you're going to go hunting or you're going to go sell sheds and you're going to be in a competitive environment, you've got to have that thing. So,
yeah, the building's so cool. So for me growing up, I mean, we did some deer hunting. I was a primary, I think it was Southern Illinois. You know what I mean? There's like some nice deer in Southern Illinois.
Deer there.
And
Pope County?
Yeah, Pope County for sure has a lot of nice deer. Yeah. I grew up in Pulaski.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like around, there was a lot of farmland down there. So you're getting some some pretty good size deer come out of there. My brother hunts all the time, leases several thousands of acres of land to hunt for that purpose. Him and his boys do that a lot. Me, thought I was going to play baseball. First of all, not even good enough to get in the minor leagues. Let's start with that. But that was sort of my passion. So sports kind of become, kind of my outlet, my avenue. And then I am so impressed by the cohesiveness, if that's the right word to use, I'm not even sure, but that exists inside of this industry of hunting personalities. There'll be a future interview coming up here soon. It'll either come out before, I don't remember. We just went to 2 days a week. So we were doing one every Wednesday, and next week is literally the launch of starting to do 2 episodes per week. Okay. I just, I had material that was good through April, May, and it feels like it's going to be outdated if I don't do something. So we're just jumping in both feet. And by the time this is heard, that will have already happened. But just going to jump into it, and the advertising seems to be coming along pretty good. So why not? I can split that up and just keep going. And as long as the audience is educated and entertained and enjoy it and continue to listen, I'm living my dream. So I'm going to do it as long as I can. I just want to provide something of value. Having guys on here see, this is what I love. You don't even understand, dude. What I love is we don't have to be here talking about sheds. Yes, it's Shed Geek Podcast, but we're not even just talking about sheds. I'm walking through and I'm impressed by all of this hunting gear that you have here. And I find myself wanting that this future episode, he was talking about pheasant hunting. I've never been pheasant hunting, and I'm like, hey, Steve, I want to come down and go pheasant hunting. So I'm going to go down to Tennessee and go pheasant hunting with my boy. And so I've got so much more to learn. Tell me about duck hunting. I want to know all about it all of a sudden, because your passion for it is where do you start? What bit you that said, hey, I want to do this. I love this. I enjoy doing this that much. Hey guys, this is the Shed Geek, and I'm here to tell you about the latest in financial innovation to hit the shed industry. It's a program called Backyard Finance. Everywhere I go, shed manufacturers and shed sellers are always asking, how can I get a better payment option for my customer? At Backyard Finance, they're making this a reality. You might be asking, how do I sign up? Simple, just go to Backyard Finance, click on the Get Started Now button, and create an account. After that, you'll have 200 plus banks competing to give your customer the best financial terms possible. With Backyard Finance, you can service your customers 2 ways, direct to customer lending or direct to merchant lending. With direct to merchant lending, simply fill out an application. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks to process that application, but it'll allow you a variety of financing options to make you a more competitive retailer. With FICO scores as low as 500, 600, or 700 plus, your customers will receive financing options with APRs as low as 2.99% or as high as 29.99%. Credit applications are approved in just 15 to 45 seconds. To know more, contact Backyard Finance at 833-692-2286 or email info@backyardfinance.com today. Backyard Finance, funding backyard dreams.
Yeah, I guess the hunting side and the business of hunting are kind of 2 different things. But I fell in love with hunting, and I think it's the reality of it is that's what my dad was doing. I wanted to be with my dad.
Okay,
we're out there doing that together, working together. And it's funny. Hunting season's 60 days here in Kentucky. And, but it's it's a lifestyle. It's year round. You're farming, you're, putting blinds in, you're, putting a levee in or a water control structure or putting pumps. I mean, it's just never ending.
Yeah.
So I think for hunting, if you want to get into it, as much as I would love to say, go to HigdonOutdoors.com. No, that's not what you do. Go hunt with somebody, have fun. And just go find somebody that who does it. Because if you're interested in hunting, you probably know someone who does it. So just invite yourself.
Yeah. My son, my son's been wanting to go for so long, and I told him, I said, just real talk here. I said, I've spent so much time working. that sometimes you forget to take the time. Now, me and him go fishing, quite a bit, and he loves to fish more than he loves to do anything. But I want to make sure that I do take the time. He's 18. He's getting ready to go off to college. So, I mean, every chance that I get for me and him to go and do that. And what's funny is I kind of finally feel like I'm at this position where me and him can start to enjoy those things and do those things. And instead of working, right?
Yep.
Like just work all the time. And I'm excited about that. And all of the people that are in this industry hunt. Like, it seems like everybody hunts. They hunt something every day of the year. And I'm just now starting to develop this interest at 42 years old to be like, I want to know more. Steve was telling me about pheasant hunting, and the way he was telling it made me just hungry to want to know more about this experience. So like I said, we did some deer hunting. I mean, I'll still go out and take some target practice and things like that, of course, but in terms of getting up and going out and bow hunting or something like that, I've never been that committed.
Yeah, I understand. Well, waterfowl hunting is, a lot of people love deer. Any big game hunting, it's you go out, you may set in a stand or whatever, but it's not as there's not a group of people doing it, right? That's what the cool thing about waterfowl. You're almost with multiple people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of camaraderie there.
Yeah.
And, you get to see the dogs work. And pheasant hunting's like that too a little bit, right? You have a couple guys, you're walking.
Yeah.
The dogs, you get to enjoy the dog working the birds and just learn to appreciate, you go 10 times with a dog, you'll see a dog break and do crazy stuff 5 times, and then you start to appreciate the good ones and how much work and what it takes to get there. I mean, it's all an art, just like anything else. It's like building a shed, right? You build a good shed, it's an art. To be a good hunter, or train a dog, whatever, it's kind of all the same thing. Where do you put your time and your energy?
That's so many guys I think about. Joe Koblenz telling me about his hunting adventures. I mean, Jim Coleman talking about his hunting adventures. I mean, I could tell the guy's naturally excited about it. You know what I mean? When he talks about it, it's real. Matt Black talks about, his hunting adventures. Joe Gaither and Curtis Creason. I see it on the Facebook page, going coon hunting and things like that. And I'm jealous of like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, gosh, they found that thing that they like. I see that in you, brother. I see it all day long, and it's really cool to see somebody be so passionate about something like that. And I love your story, man. It's just about like being with Dad initially. It's family. That's what I love about the podcast is it's like building community. I feel like a lot of community has been taken from us through either just the natural chart of society or whatever, politics, whatever you want to call it.
We all feel that way a little bit over the last few years, I think, to be honest. Right. I think we all feel that way a little bit. So, hey, let's fight and get it back.
That's right. Yeah. Like, we'll get on here, talk about Jesus. We'll get on here and we'll talk about hunting. We're the Shed Geek Podcast, but I promise you there's some guys out there that really appreciate your stories. Matter of fact, people buy from people that they trust. I know that. So having an opportunity to explain who you are through the podcast is just as important about explaining the products that you're associated with. So I want them to go buy LuxGuard products. I want them to call up Midco and hammer them out. Man, they should definitely check out Higdon Outdoors too. Hopefully they'll holler at you and get some decoys and just maybe get a chance to meet you. Outside of that, you guys have this really cool thing going on. I feel like I can't get everything in one show. You have like this media production, like you're right here in Paducah, and it's blowing my mind that I didn't know this. We have so many mutual acquaintances that we just hadn't met yet. And you're right next to Reds. Oh, it really bugs me. Like, that's beautiful. But yeah, I'm a glutton. I'm sorry.
Remember the suspenders.
Yeah.
Remember the suspender.
If I can't remember that I couldn't fit in them, at least remember they popped off and hit you in the head. Exactly. And that's not good for my show.
That was so funny.
So tell me a little bit about sort of the media side of what you guys bring to things.
Yeah. We were, I guess this was 2012 maybe. We decided here at Higdon Outdoors we wanted to do a TV show, Higdon Outdoors television. Actually, we didn't know what the name was then. And we went out and tried to do it ourselves. And it was a huge mess. I remember we had a great day hunting, me and my brother, and we got back to the lodge we were at, and started looking at it, he never plugged in the audio or plugged in the audio wire or flipped the switch or whatever. And so the whole hunt has no audio. And we missed we were in Canada, right? We went up there.
No.
And if he listens to this, he might say, "No, you were running that camera." And but whatever. He's not here, so he did that.
So it was all him.
Yeah, absolutely. But we decided we were going to do a TV show, tried to do it ourselves, and it didn't work. And I thought, man, Kurt Stewart, he's super talented. I played soccer against him when I was in high school, and he's just like a creative, fun, just like sitting here talking to you, super talented guy. And he was getting EMP off the ground here in Paducah as a videography firm. And so we approached him and said, "Hey, man, we're going to make this show. Why don't you come shoot it with us? And if you need to get somebody to come help you, then do that." And he did. And a year later, we were sitting down with him talking about getting him to come, set up here in the building and work with him long term. And so we struck a deal, and he moved in here in the building with us. And, a part of that vision, and I think everybody listening to this can appreciate, especially back in 2012, what we were starting to see is Amazon and the whole digital, the internet taking it's just such an important part of your business. And even if it's not purchasing, just the marketing, right? Social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we said, we're going to invest in a media firm, and we're going to grow that. We're going to take outside clients, and we're going to use that talent to help our business. And that's exactly what we did. So for 10 years, we've added people. I think today we've got 6 guys, videographers, web designers, social media guys. And man, they're just talented and fun. And it's like, I'd give anything if I didn't have to do all the stuff I do. And I could come do what they do, because they get to do some really fun stuff. They go on hunting trips. They get to go shoot a product and put like this creative thing together to show it to people. And it's neat. It's a good group of guys. And, we have a lot of fun with it.
I'll tell you, I sort of feel the same way. And I don't know, maybe in terms of talent, just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, probably didn't even own a computer, just worked very blue collar, wasn't interested in technology, wasn't interested in seeing Amazon and the .com boom and things like that in the 90s. It never caught me like it did a lot of people. Even social media, it's okay, but now I've learned the value of it and how necessary it is for that purpose. I mean, even just me talking about and understanding and learning things about CRMs and SEO and AI and stuff like that. It's starting to come out, and it's changing our world, and it changes the world of sales. It changes the world of marketing. Even podcasting. I was so happy a future guest that's going to be coming on. I was talking to him yesterday, and he's talking about the value of podcasts themselves. I'm just so lucky and blessed to have seen this space available in sheds, and had a love for sheds and had a love for listening to podcasts. Hey, these two things need to be married, right? So next thing you know, there it is. And I'm just glad that the audience, like I said, has responded the way that it has. But he talked about repurposing content constantly. You put it on your website, being on a podcast and then putting it on your website so that people can learn who you are, your story, without, maybe they're looking at your shed and maybe you sell LuxGuard in that. And you want to talk about that, do a podcast and talk about the features and the benefits and things like that that's in your shed. People kind of shop you online, even if they want to come in and actually tangibly touch the product, the decoy, the shed, whatever it is you're selling, right? Simon Sinek says it's find your why. It's not about, what you're doing or how you're doing. It's why you're doing. So get people to understand why you do it. They'll buy from you. So you just happen to be passionate about decoys and LuxGuard, right? You just happen to be passionate about those things. But I told him, I said, man, I want to get you on the episode because I'm lucky enough to have material, but I want to continue to try and find shed haulers, shed dealers, shed sellers, you know what I mean? Shed manufacturers, products and services to bring to the industry to people. And sometimes just remember it's about the people and not always about just a shed. That's what's cool, man. I feel like it's like a ministry. It feeds me to meet people like yourself, and you're right here in Paducah. I don't think people understand just how excited I am about the fact that you're right here in Paducah, yet me and you have a friend in North Carolina, and that's how we met.
Small world.
I think about Carol DeJarnett and how she grew up in Karnak, and I grew up in Olmsted, but we met in Florida, and I'm like, what? How do you know where? I don't know. It's just I'm probably boring to people most of the time when I'm talking about these things, but they're still exciting to me. So ShedHub.com is the shed industry's very first two-sided marketplace that allows you, the shed seller, to list your inventory on a site specifically designed for selling sheds. ShedHub establishes more qualified sales leads and helps your customers find you with a simple online search. Shoppers searching where to buy sheds and sheds near me have grown by 200% in the last 2 years. This means even if the buyer wants to visit a sales lot to purchase a shed, their shed buying journey started with a simple Google search. They can actually check out and purchase the shed straight from ShedHub if they prefer to shop online. ShedHub does not charge any commission for sheds you sell. We simply charge the monthly subscription. Your sales commission is still yours to keep. Sheds listed on ShedHub will have first page search results in 91% of cities, or where to buy sheds is searched. For special pricing only available through Shed Geek, simply go to geek.shedhub.com to see the promo codes that allow you to save as much as 50% off the first 12 months of your subscription, and over 75% for companies with multiple sales locations. Sell more sheds using shedhub.com. So that's the media side.
Yep, that's the media side.
Things. What, like a TV show, what made you go that route?
To be honest, there was a lot of our competitors and, some of our dealers were doing those kind of shows, and we just knew we could do something that, was really a lot of what you're articulating. It was about family and fun. It wasn't just so like beating commercials and product down your throat, and you know what I mean? It's
a little
like
story branding, almost a little bit more than just
exactly.
like, what's our friend here in Paducah? The audience isn't going to get this, but the car salesman here in Paducah.
Oh, Stovacad,
Larry Stovacad, a great guy, but he definitely does like the come on down, $59.99, $79.99, and
he's done very well with that.
He's done amazing. He's done really good, but the reality is like I think what you're trying to say is that story branding side of like who I am in life and what made me like sell a decoy without just selling a decoy. Hey, this isn't just $200 or $400 or whatever it is. There's a story behind this, and the story is what's going to get the sale. And that's how that's going to make you feel when you're out with your dad in this particular moment with that product. Yeah. How you can look back on that. And that's the emotion you're trying to capture.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the, you can always go throw a logo up somewhere and pop an ad, but really if you can do anything that people really resonate with and, it's long-term, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. So, and just kind of get a feel for what it's like when you go hunting, right? We want people to watch the show and hopefully they laugh several times. Hopefully they learn something and, they feel like they were there, then that's when you've won. And, we've got Kurt, man, they do a great job. I don't know if you got to watch an episode if you've never seen one.
I'm going to have to now, of course. Yeah.
Just go on YouTube and check it out. There's some great, there's one called Taco Trucks on season 8. It's hilarious.
Do you go around some here locally in Paducah? I mean, like are some of the spots I would maybe recognize. Rural areas, maybe not, but
yeah, we do a lot. I mean, we travel all over the country. We're a national business, and sell at Bass Pro and Cabela's and Max Perry Wing and Rogers and all these different places. So we try to hunt in environments that represent our customers, all of our customers. So some people are hunting out of boats, some people are hunting in the snow, some people are hunting in the marsh. And so you kind of, different species of birds, different settings, different places. So we try and spread that out. So, because the products are all designed for different, like you don't use this ground blind when you're in the water, right? Yeah. You don't use the water blind when you're in the field and kind of like that, right?
I'm getting education here.
Yeah.
So I'm
So you really can't, I guess, no one would really care anything about the show if we went down, to Ballard County or Horseshoe or, whatever, somewhere around here every time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you ever end up over around Cache in Southern Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. We've hunted all through there, man.
Man, that's where my wife's from. Like, my in-laws live over there and all that stuff. And, Lower Cache Access Road. Actually, you probably know it. You've probably been on it several times.
I have.
Duck hunt there a lot. So, dude, it blows my mind. It's so cool. I love to see someone passionate about stuff like I am. I can obviously tell. It seems like you're passionate about the process and obviously hunting, and then how that worked into LuxGuard, and it's like, wow, and into the shed industry. Any final thoughts on that you'd want to share personally, individually, or with the guest about LuxGuard? So right now we're super blessed, man. We're seeing like 1,000 a week. I mean, the YouTube channel's growing, and we're trying to get some subscribers. So, like, I don't know if you know this, but I pay somebody $1 every time I see them to subscribe. No, I'm just kidding.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's get settled up here after this. At least $3.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to try and shamelessly build that page. But it's cool. We're seeing some good stuff out of the video side. The call-in line, seeing like 400 call-ins a week. So it's cool. So that's who your audience is. What would you want to tell them about Ben, and what would you want to tell them about LuxGuard?
Yeah, I guess, first, listen, I'm not the shed expert. Trust me. That's not what I do. I'm the manufacturing side of this brand, and we will always make and deliver a good product. That's my part in it. But the LuxGuard team are people that have been in the shed industry for, a quarter century. And multiple people that have been doing it for a long time. They know what they're doing. They know this product inside and out. I can guarantee you that. And yeah, if the idea of LuxGuard and that floor that lasts a lifetime resonates, I would say give them a shout. Talk about it with them. And, I think they'll be the first people in the world to say, hey, look, maybe this isn't a good fit for you. If it's not, but pick up the phone, call them, and try it out, and go to LuxGuard.com, look at it. I guess that's really what I'm here to kind of say. And as far as for me personally, man, I just blessed to be here. And I mean, it's kind of crazy to me too, to get invited to do things like this. And it kind of makes me realize, like, God, what? I've got so much stuff going on. I need to quit doing all this, because I've got 3 little kids too, and I got a 4, 6, an 8-year-old, and my wife's like, man, you just need to quit getting into so much stuff. But
it's hard not to, man.
It's hard not to. I do try. I don't do anything if I can't give it my all and do it well. I mean, I especially as I get older.
That.
So
like it's humbling for me to hear to hear like a young man or even his dad say, we've actually listened to your podcast once a week. We sat around together and listened to it as a family, and I'm like, whoa, I like, that is, you want to talk about eating some humble pie, is to hear something like that. That you have a due diligence. You owe those people something, that it's beyond you to be able to try to provide something educational, to provide something entertainment and clean and family friendly and things like that. I saw a binder recently. I was traveling, and they print out the weekly newsletter that I sent out. So if anybody wants that, go to info.shedgeek.com. I feel like I always got to mention that, because by all means, we send out a weekly newsletter, talks about the guest who's on, gives a shout out to the advertisers and things like that. I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Rob Fields over at Midco. So Rob, don't hate me for this. I owe you one, but 731-571-1904. Call him up and say, hey, I want some LuxGuard for my shed. I want to find out about the seamless flooring and get it going. Promise you, he's going to take care of you. Also, the number for LuxGuard, if you want to give those guys a call, 336-468-4311. You can go to www.luxguard.com. You can also go to LuxGuard. It's LuxGuard, LuxGuard.shedgeek.com. 30 days from the initial day this episode airs. You can save for 30 days from that day, 50% off installation equipment to help get you started. So if there's never been a motivator to give it a shot, that's as good as what I could hope for.
And Midco as well.
Yeah, definitely give Midco. I feel like just their number. I should have it here. How prepared am I, Ben?
Oh, just give them their cell phone.
That's what I did with Rob. That's
what I thought. I was like, oh my goodness, what's he gonna think about that?
Yeah, no, he'll hopefully he'll laugh.
He'll say thank you.
Hello, Shed Builder. With each new year, builders are searching for ways to increase efficiency and safety. Simply put, the Joey PIVOTLIFT is an investment into your building crew and your bottom dollar. Manufacturers are able to save hours and dollars by making painting, decking, and roofing a safer and quicker process. The Joey PIVOTLIFT turns 360 degrees inside of a 50-inch radius and lasts an average 8-hour workday before needing charged. It has a minimum platform height of 61.5 inches, allowing you to reach into areas with ease versus the traditionally used 6-foot ladder. No tripping or falling hazards exist, and no need to climb down and restock. For roofers, simply load your metal on the lift prior to getting started and throw your roofing screws into the built-in tool tray. Pricing is just $8,295 for the 60 series, $9,685 for the 70 series, and $10,675 for the roofing model. For exact pricing that includes tax and delivery to your door, contact the Shed Geek at info@shedgeek.com or dial 618-309-3648. We're raising building standards with Joey PIVOTLIFT.
Hopefully he'll laugh. 270-247-7447 is Midco. I think Rob would get a kick out of it. Matter of fact, call him, everybody.
Right.
So appreciate what you're doing here, man. Just love it. Love the product. Getting to meet you. We talked about doing like a donut podcast. That's how involved we were in those. Did I tell you about my favorite story? It's not my favorite story. It's a terrible story. This is going to go well with my suspenders popping off. You want to talk about a massive fail? All right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and share it with the audience. So I remember going to Planet Fitness over here when they started over in West Paducah. I said, I'm going to get serious about my health. I used to run in the military. I used to run 2 miles 3 days a week, right? Since then, 60 pounds ago, whatever. Nobody's counting. I remember going and signing up. It's $5 a month. So I'm like, I'm dedicated. I'm going to go. I went to Planet Fitness. This is awful. I went to Planet Fitness and I walked around and I saw everybody like sweating and like miserable and working hard and really just in the grind.
Don't say it.
I left and I went and got a dozen of Red's donuts.
I knew you were getting rid of
and I went home and I ate like 3 donuts. That is what you call failure.
But listen, you could have eaten all 12.
You know what? I love your positive.
So there you go. Look,
I love your positive outlook. If y'all ever get to Paducah, all I'm saying is get your Red's donut, get you some Starnes barbecue.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, and just hamburgers, they do this thing once a year where they take a Red's donuts and put a burger in between it, like sandwich it in there between a donut.
So the donut
bun.
becomes the bun.
I've never had one. I just look at it and think, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. I'll feel guilty just eating it.
I've never had one either.
But
or 2 or 3. Never had one of those, so I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, listen, it's such a pleasure to meet you. How cool are Gabe and the guys over at Vinyl?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Just a neat group of guys,
just a
right?
neat group. Just thorough, smart, talented, easygoing. And I'm going to give a shout out to those guys and Ralph and Scott and Alex, all these guys that have really helped us get going. Through all this. Man, I tell you, the portable building business. And I told you this. I think you're like, I don't know, but it's a lot like the hunting business. These are hardworking, just easygoing people that do what they say they're going to do. This is a cutthroat world, you know.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying I know there's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on hunting business and in the shed business, but generally speaking, my experience is some great people. Smart, hardworking, just godly people.
Yeah.
And it's been a great experience from my perspective.
I've had good experiences and bad. I've had so many people tell me it's about how you react. It's not about
That's right.
what's done to you. I've failed at times. I've reacted poorly, right? And there's accountability for that. And I think the only way you can hold yourself accountable is to admit that. And then there's times I've reacted well. And there's times that God has just sustained me through nothing more than prayer because I didn't know what else to do. You know, me and my wife went through, breast cancer, about 2 years ago. Whenever news of that broke, I mean, as a matter of fact, tomorrow's my anniversary. Matter of fact, PD, I need to wish you a happy anniversary if you're listening, buddy, because March of 2000, he was getting married on the same day.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you can always remember that.
I can remember. He reminded me of that because I mentioned it on a previous episode, but tomorrow will be 27 years of my 42. And me and my wife have been together, grown up together. So it's a heartbreak when you hear a diagnosis like that. And she's healthy and hair's coming back and all's well and God's good. And I was telling the guys yesterday, the Shed University thing that we're put together, I was having a meeting by Zoom, and I said, because I didn't know what else to do, I took a line from the sales book that I read. Don't get too far up when in sales. It's full of ebbs and flows. So don't get too far up when things are good. Don't get too far down. It's an emotional process. So just, if it seems like the world's falling apart today, it's probably not. If it seems like you're on top of the world today, you're probably not, because there's tomorrow. It's peaks and valleys. So the only advice I could give to my wife, because you're her husband, you want to solve everything. I can whoop cancer. I can whatever. I can, you can't. You're helpless. And the only thing I could do was take a line from what I learned in sales, and that is, when we get good news, let's not celebrate too big. And when we get bad news, let's just, remember it's not the end of the world. He takes care of the birds of the air. He'll take care of us and owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. So let's don't get all out of whack here. Yep. Let's just pray through this. And that has worked the most. And this industry has been awesome, dude. And I bet the more I learn about how the hunting industry works, I bet you're right. I bet you it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
What I love about this podcast, man, and just podcasts in general, conversations, getting to meet folks like yourself, Ben, just a pleasure to meet you, and wishing you nothing but success. Again, check them out, guys, over at LuxGuard. It's a great product, and you can save some money right now. All
right. Hey, and listen, if we're going to close with prayer, then I was to make sure, get it on the record. We're going duck hunting this fall, all right, this winter. If you want to go.
Yeah, I'd love to. All right. If my son can go.
All right. And your son.
It's so much about spending time with
Absolutely. We'll get Carrie and some of those guys. Okay. I took them a couple years ago, and Jake and some of those guys.
Dude, you don't know how much that would be awesome.
All right. We'll try and hook it up.
Perfect.
All right.
So good to meet you, dude.
Pleasure.
For sure. Yep.
All right. Let's do it again.
Yes.